Overwhelmed with online, or just wanting to learn more about how you can build a successful business amidst all of the self-appointed gurus, big buzzwords and empty promises? The Breaking Digital podcast by Doyle Bueller tells you exactly what smart entrepreneurs need to know to escape the clutter, get clear of the confusion, and pass the bullshit of building and growing a successful business online. It's about digital leadership and delivering the best value for your business online to your audience. Now, here's your host and author of the book on digital leadership and online marketing, The Digital Delusion, Doyle Bueller.
Hello and welcome to Breaking Digital, the podcast for smart entrepreneurs wanting to become true digital leaders in their industry and to own online. I'm Doyle Bueller, and I am so excited to be bringing you a special guest today. I'm really looking forward to helping you learn more about what you can be doing online and helping you to do it better. And if you have any comments throughout the program, please feel free to connect on Twitter at Doyle Bueller with the hashtag #OwnOnline. You can also find the resources that we talk about, as well as the podcast for download on iTunes or thedigitaldelusion.com/podcast. All right, let's get started. Hello and welcome. This is Doyle Bueller from Breaking Digital Podcast, the podcast for digital leaders. Today I have a very special guest, James Norquay, who's come to talk to us about SEO and content marketing and that sort of thing. And James, he runs a high-quality SEO and content marketing agency called Prosperity Media, which is located in Sydney's CBD at Town Hall. James and his team has over 10 years of experience in the online marketing space. Welcome, James. How are you doing?
Fantastic, Doyle. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, no, very excited. You're a very renowned expert in the field. And tell me a bit about yourself, James.
So yeah, I've been in the SEO and content marketing space for over 10 years. I started building my own network of sites back in 2005 now. So basically, some of those sites grew up to 20 million unique visitors, primarily targeting the US market, mainly in entertainment niches and fashion and niches like that. Sold a lot of those sites out. And then in 2008, 2009, moved into enterprise level consulting for large businesses such as Virgin Mobile, Optus, Woolworths, all the big players, even Citibank, and started the SEO team for a company called Mitchell Communications Group, who were the largest media buyer in the Australian market. So then after that, we grew that team out, and in 2012, I decided it was time to make a leap and start my own business. As I grew their old business to $1 million plus in revenue, I decided it's time to start my own company. And that's pretty much where I started that. And started the company in 2012. And we've grown over the last few years, and I've picked up some very nice business. So yeah, that's a pretty top-level little career history for myself.
Excellent. And what made you decide that you wanted to go into business for yourself?
Probably because one, we had a change of management at our old company, and it wasn't favorable, the old management, and the funness of the old office changed. It once really fun work environment turned to a real 9-to-5 corporate environment where if you were 1 minute late to work, you're in trouble. But we were working 2 hours overtime anyway, and
but that wasn't a problem.
Back in the day, like it was a more relaxed and startup kind of environment. But then new management turned it into an IBM 9-to-5 kind of corporate environment that just wasn't fun anymore. You didn't enjoy going to work. And the fact that I was making so much money for the old company, and they just weren't remunerating me in the same way as some of the higher-ups who weren't doing a lot of work. And we were doing all the work and bringing in all the business, and decided it was time to jump out and start doing my own business. So yeah.
And how has sort of the entrepreneur adventure been for you so far?
Yeah, I mean, things have been all right. We were lucky in the sense that I already had a brand name in the market. I was already presenting at a lot of events. So there was already a handful of clients that wanted to start work as soon as they realized I was moving to my own venture. So yeah, we had a lot of new business quite quickly. I know a lot of people start a business and they don't think how are they going to get new clients, but I think you need to kind of have an action plan set out. So kind of already was doing some part-time consulting. I already was in the market doing a bit of that. So people kind of knew my name and they knew quality work was renowned in with that name. So yeah, we were lucky in that sense that we had some early business. A lot of people, yeah, they struggle to get new business, but if you've been in the market long enough, if you've spoken at big conferences, you can usually get some work that way. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a good way to start. And what's keeping you moving now? Is it the quality of work? Is it the location? Is it kind of the size of the projects that you do?
I think if you do good work, then people will refer you to other contacts. So that's the way that we keep moving quite effectively. Is we get a lot of referral leads. Like they say in the online marketing space, anyone who's advertising a lot is probably not a great company, but the companies that don't advertise a lot, they're the ones that do good work, and that's so true. People that don't advertise heavily, they don't spam Google AdWords, they're usually the ones that are doing quality work and get all the referral leads, and they just have a good name in the market. And yeah,
Do you mean from the agency level or the business level?
probably from an agency level.
Okay.
Oh no, from referrals is more from business
Yeah.
level, but from an advertising point of view,
Yeah.
it's
The
from
advertising.
agency level.
Okay.
But yeah,
So advertise agencies that are doing well don't typically advertise. Is that kind of what you're saying?
yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
Yeah.
From a lot of the companies in Sydney that we know that do quality work, you won't see them advertising heavily,
Hmm.
but yeah, some less than favorable companies they'll be advertising to a large degree.
Okay.
So yeah,
So you don't advertise then.
we do bits and
Bits and
pieces. I
pieces.
mean,
Okay.
a little bit of Facebook advertising,
Yeah.
sometimes LinkedIn ads. We have a lot of content out in the market that's pretty much advertising that
Yeah.
way anyway. So yeah, we have a lot of just content is advertising, I guess you could say as well. So if you're doing a lot of quality content, that can be seen as advertising your brand as well.
Yeah, and I was going to kind of move into that too. It's your specialty is SEO and content marketing. So if you're doing that properly, everybody should, well, not everybody, but your target market should be seeing that. Is that kind of how you're doing it?
Yeah, so we of course we get a lot of leads organically. So ranking for some nice organic terms is going to drive leads in. We also own some microsites. So a few years ago we purchased a site backlinks.com.au. So that drives in some nice referral leads every so often. So yeah, there's always a decent amount of leads coming in, but you want to sort the quality leads from the low quality leads, because there's a lot of low quality leads out there, and you don't want to be a business that takes on 100% of leads that come in, because you want to be more selective with the businesses you work with. So we might only work with 1 in 3 kind of businesses that come in, because yeah, the other 2 leads, they might just not be the right kind of spend or the right type of business to work with. They
Yeah.
might not have the right goals or the right mindset moving forward. So
So
yeah.
how do you qualify those leads then?
Oh, there's numerous ways you can qualify a lead. You can just look at the type of domain they have. Are they using a Gmail account when they contact you? Are they using just from when you send them a brief? So we have a 10-question brief, and usually when some of those questions in that brief are things such as what type of monthly budget do you have? I mean, what is your in-house capabilities, things like that. So if someone comes back and they say our monthly budget is $200 a month and we have the expectation to do XYZ, usually you can say, well, like our minimum spend to take on new clients is at this level, and $200, like it's not currently at that level. So that's another problem, is a lot of people, they think that they can get really high quality work in the online marketing space, but they don't want to pay a lot of money for it, and that's simply not the case. Usually with any type of work, you've got to pay for quality. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, it's always important to be able to qualify those companies that you want to be able to work for as well, because if they're not sort of at that level where you're at, then yeah, it's not a very productive project for you.
Exactly.
In terms of so tell me about SEO and content marketing. What exactly do you do for your clients?
So we have various different clients. So some clients will come to our business and they'll only want one specific thing. Like they might come and might request a huge site audit. Or some clients will come and they'll want to be on like a 6 to 12 month kind of strategy where we're doing numerous elements, keyword research, audits, ongoing link acquisition, ongoing content production, numerous different elements in the campaign. So yeah, it really depends on the type of client. We work with a lot of clients that actually have in-house SEO teams. So we essentially act as a add-on to their SEO team. So the SEO team will need some extra firepower in a campaign. They just don't have the internal resources to push out these types of things. So yeah, that's the gist of things. But yeah,
Well,
I mean,
in terms of developing content, like what's sort of a typical process that you would take somebody through?
yeah. So basically, if a client comes to us and they say we need 15 articles a month for our blog, and then we'll sit down with that client and we'll say, what type of content are you producing right now? So usually clients, they'll want to have content that's news focused. They want to have content that's like fun and interesting, or they might have technical kind of content, how-to content. So we'll develop like a 3 or 6 month plan for those guys based on the content production that they require. So yeah, it varies business to business. Some businesses need more content than others. And yeah, once we sit down with them, we kind of work out what they need from those different content areas, and then we'll find some examples of content that are similar online, and we'll say, is this similar to the type of content that you would like to be produced? And then there's different other questions that we'll ask, things like what type of theme is it? What type of writing style? How many words? How many images would they like within the content? We don't really write content that's SEO focused. I mean, a lot of other agencies, they get really focused on writing keyword rich content. We like to write content that's right for the users. So
And
yeah.
why is that though?
I think in the old days, like, I mean, saying old days, I mean like 2007, 2008, when people used to produce SEO based content, then it was like, oh, we need 10 mentions of car insurance within this article, and the title needs 2 mentions of car insurance and things like that. And now it's like, if I'm going to write a car insurance article, I want to write something really fantastic and interesting, like 10 things you need to know about buying car insurance in 2016. And that article is going to be 10 very interesting points that are going to resonate with your readers. You're not going to be writing 10 points of just keyword rich content. So I think the game's changed like that. I think if you want to do well, you have to be writing interesting and engaging content that, yeah.
Yeah, because well, we've seen the shift, right? And kind of the train has left the station where you still have sort of that old school SEO in my mind that really is that keyword focused, which yeah, it's important, but you still have to sort of create that good user experience. And
Yeah.
Google is basically changing the ranking based on how good of an experience you produce.
Yeah, I think you still need to write content with keywords in mind, but you need to have your user intent as a bigger area of that content. If you're writing something about car insurance, don't include car insurance as a keyword 50 times in the article, but include it a handful of times. Like I'm talking 4 times, and then have one mention in the title, one mention in description. Make it sound natural. That's the thing with content production. You need to make it sound natural. You still need to focus and you still need to do your keyword research. You need to know what you're going to be ranking content for, what you want to target. You can just type in these keywords and look at what other articles are ranking for certain keywords you want to target and reverse engineer it. But the best strategies and the best results we've seen is when you just have a natural focus, but a focus on quality as well.
Yeah, and how is that? What would be your estimation of how many businesses are focusing on that quality content as opposed to that keyword content?
Well, all the clients we work with, usually we just advise them to do content like that. I mean, we take on a lot of projects where they might have been working with another agency who's had a 2004 mindset to their SEO campaign. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to shock them into 2016, you know. So that's one thing that you have to do.
That's
But
funny, yeah.
no, it happens a lot. Like we deal with a lot of businesses that have been doing SEO for 10 years, and then they say, "Look, we've been doing all this work for 10 years," and then you're like a someone restoring a car. So you get a car that comes into your shop and it's all been damaged from all this past quality, low quality SEO work. You pretty much have to strip that car from the ground up and redo it all. So that happens a lot with SEO campaigns. We actually have to redo the whole site and fix up their link profile, fix up their on-site content, fix up all their title tags, fix up all their technical SEO on the site. So yeah, there's
But why do you think that happened, James? Like, was that because of people just trying to deliberately game Google, or was it sort of more because of the industry?
I think it was just I mean everyone was doing SEO back in 2007, like just with they didn't really have a user intent in mind. It was more like SEO focus only. And I think I was even guilty of that back on my own sites. Like I remember I used to to do strategies that you'd never do now back in 2007. But things like that, you the game's definitely changed. And I think the problem is a lot of people they haven't really got on the train, as you said earlier. They're still waiting at the station. You know, they've missed that train hours ago, and they're still waiting for the train that's coming in a couple of months because they're still using those old school strategies, and they think the old school stuff's going to work. But I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes the old school stuff does work, but more and more we're seeing that quality and doing things the right way, it's you're building a brand that's going to be around here in 5 to 10 years. You're not working on a strategy that is going to leave your business to get hit with a penalty or you're going to get removed from the index or something like that, because that can happen a lot. So you have to focus on quality. You have to focus on longevity of your strategies. So yeah.
But how do you separate, like, as a for businesses out there, how do they separate like a legitimate SEO content development type organization like yourself and a company that says, well, we'll get you, number one ranking or on the first page, you know, and they specifically sell SEO services. Like, how does somebody differentiate what's really good and what's gonna shock their business?
So I think you really need to ask for solid testimonials with reference checks from client side individuals. You need to look on their site. Do they have relevant case studies? You really need to go out to some events and to meet people in your industry. A lot of people just go to Google and type in SEO, and then they'll look at the first 3 paid search ads and they'll pick whoever's on the paid search ads. That can be a very bad strategy because you could end up with a company that's just not going to do quality work. So
Are there questions that they should ask specifically to kind of maybe
Um,
ferret them out?
yeah, like on my site, jamesnorquay.com, we have a list of like 10 different SEO questions that you can ask your agency.
Yeah.
So, I
Do you have a
mean,
sample of a couple of those?
just things like asking some technical questions. So just do some research and find out a few kind of technical SEO things. Because if that agency doesn't know the technical SEO basics, then you could be signing up with someone who isn't going to be a fantastic agency. I mean, this could be things like, what does href lang tag do? So when you ask a question like that, that's basically it's a tag to it's where you can alter the region of your site. So if you've got a site in the US, the UK, and Australia, all with the same type of content, you can you can do those types of things. And yeah, I mean, and just asking for things like, can we speak to some prior clients? Can we have some actionable testimonials that are recent? Seeing if the agency is in line with Google search quality guidelines. Do they currently, like, so basically just going to search on Google for Google search quality guidelines and then reading over those guidelines and seeing if the agency is in line with that. And I mean, just asking quick questions off the top of your head to things like, what are your top 5 on-page strategies and what are your top 5 off-page strategies? Because that's another big one. Just if they can pick things up quickly off the top of their head and answer them. And then big ones are things like, if they're doing link acquisition, are they going to provide monthly link building reports? A lot of companies, when you say, can you provide a monthly link building report, they'll say, oh, sorry, that's our secret Google source, or that's our secret link magnet, or that's our link grid that we can't share. That's our company intel. As soon as you hear something like that, it's a clear indication that they're doing something dodgy. So potentially they're using a link network, or they're doing link building that's less than favorable because they don't want to actually share that with the client. So, I mean, and then just setting KPIs and say, can you set KPIs with the company? Because KPIs could be anything, such as increases in organic brand traffic, increases in conversion from organic search, increases in referral traffic as a result of link acquisition. I mean, KPI on client-facing hours. What type of monthly reports you're going to be sending? How detailed are they? Are you going to be having quarterly catch-ups with the client to really see if they're in line with what you originally signed up for? And then, yeah, I mean, always just never sign up for a really long-term thing, and always have a 30-day get-out clause in a contract. That's my advice for people looking to sign up with reputable companies, because anyone that wants to sign you up for 12 or 24 months and just have no get-out clause, that can be a dangerous thing as well. So always try and include a 30-day cancellation clause in contracts as well. So, yeah.
No, those are some really good ideas. In terms of, yeah, seeking out that help that you want, and helping it actually work for you and your business. There are some SEO companies that sort of reverse engineer, the Google algorithm. Do you recommend that? Do you think that that's practical advice?
Everyone's essentially reverse engineering the Google algorithm, because there's so many SEO companies
Yeah.
review those kind of like, say for example, Search Metrics does the ranking factors each year. So they release a list of the top 100 ranking factors from their analysis. Don't get me wrong, looking at things like that are fantastic, because with SEO you should be actively testing things on a weekly basis with your own test sites. I mean, you don't want to be testing with client sites. You want to be testing with internal sites that you have to see what strategies are working. And then when you have a strategy that's 100% ethical and something that's working, of course, you can roll that out to client sites. But yeah, I mean, you have to be testing the algorithm elements to a certain degree. I definitely wouldn't say that's a bad thing. I think the thing that's bad is when people still chase algorithm metrics that worked in the 2004, 5, 6, things like that. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be looking at relevant recent research from reputable companies such as Search Metrics to kind of see what's working and what's not working. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. What I was referring to also was some companies that offer that as a service to say, well, you should be using, H1, 2, 3 tags this many times. You should be doing this. You should have a sort of a ratio of text to code, that sort of thing, where it specifically looks at your site and does that. Is that helpful, or is
Like certain elements of that could be helpful. So for example, like getting keyword usage in titles, ensuring that keyword usage is on pages, but not making it spammy and not overdoing it with keywords. I mean, looking at link metrics to work out like if your competitors have a certain number of domain authority based links, then how many like domain authority relevant links do you have? But there's so many metrics with SEO. There's something like over 200 ranking factors. So
it's hard to keep track of them?
It is hard to keep track of them.
But so distilling it down though, like what are the 3 most important things about SEO that you can tell us?
Definitely link acquisition is a big one still. I mean, link building in competitive verticals is still 50% of the game. Second would be content, like that's all on page content, titles, metas, all that type of stuff. So content elements on the site. And then correct technical setup and correct technical targeting from a technical SEO point of view. That's another big one. So if you don't have your technical SEO elements on site that are effectively correct, that can be a big point of problem for your site. So technical SEO elements, on-page content, titles, all that on-page stuff, that's big. And link acquisition. They're the top 3 from my point of view.
Yeah.
From an SEO point of view.
Okay. And do you feel that other agencies, content and SEO, are kind of doing the same thing, or what are you doing differently that makes you stand out?
I think what we're doing differently that stands out, I mean, we focus on quality, so producing quality content placements, acquiring quality, high quality links, producing quality content, focusing on technical SEO. So everyone that works through our business has a deep understanding of SEO. So we've been doing this stuff for a long time. So we know all the intricate details of technical elements of sites. We've worked on complex problems. A lot of people, they may not have that experience. You see people where they claim they're an SEO expert after 6 months of being in the business. It's laughable.
There's lots of those.
I know. It's frustrating to a degree because there's no regulatory body to stop anyone from claiming they're an expert after 6 months. But you're always learning. There's always new things. And that's why I love still going to conferences, and I still love reading blogs and things like that, and engaging on forums and private Skype groups with SEOs and things like that, because there are always new things coming out and you can always pick up new tactics. So for someone like myself that's been in the business 10 years, you can always still be learning. So there's always new things, and yeah, you can never stop learning, I think, because you never know what's going to come up. And yeah, there are some great conferences around, but you really want to go to the more advanced stuff if you've been doing the SEO game for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
For those companies that are just kind of getting started with SEO, what would you recommend?
Just jumping onto sites like inbound.org. That's a great resource. Going to conferences. So we run an advanced online marketing conference. We also run the online marketing Sydney events. So
yeah, that's a meetup that you have, right?
Yeah, it's a meetup in Sydney. So Sydney CBD, once a month we have an influential digital marketer come and speak. So yeah, if you want to learn, there's some good metrics. I mean, there's some good ideas. Then, I mean, there's a lot of online courses like Distilled You, Market Motive, or just reading sites like Moz, Search Engine Land. They have huge resource sections and they have huge blogs with just thousands and thousands of pages of content. You can go read and learn and continue learning because there's so much content on there. So yeah.
Yeah. So what you're really saying is go out there. If you're struggling with SEO, go out there, find out what you really need to know and educate yourself and your business, and then make a decision of perhaps using an agency or doing it yourself. Is that fair?
I think making the decision of using an agency or doing it yourself, it really comes down to time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of business owners or marketing teams, they just don't have the time. Well, they don't have the time to spend hundreds of hours researching it all. So that's why they're happy to use an agency.
And
But don't get
that's
me
where you
wrong.
come in. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Then, of course, you get business owners that, I don't know, they want to save a bit of money or they feel a bit frustrated. So then, yeah, they're more than happy to try and learn it all themselves.
Well, but I guess they would. I'm coming from the point of okay, they can do it internally with their own SEO team, or do an
um,
agency, or
it comes down to budget as well, because if you want to hire a good SEO, they're going to be 60,000 to 100,000
yeah.
as a wage. So you kind of need to factor that in as well. So that's another one.
Okay.
You need to think about how much they're actually going to cost. So hiring a good SEO is not cheap
Right.
in-house.
And it would be
So
one person as opposed to many people within an
yeah.
agency.
But even if you hire that person, you're still going to probably need content production. You're still probably going to need someone to do link building, because a lot of SEOs just get sick of link building and they like outsourcing it. So I think that's why we've been quite lucky that we have a lot of clients that are actually in-house SEO teams. So we have clients where they have 2, 3, 4 in-house SEOs, but they still need help.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there's always more you can do.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we work on projects where they have 3 in-house employees. They have another agency targeting a different section of the site. We're targeting a different section of the site. We're all working for one larger project. So there's always more work you can do, and especially if you're in a competitive vertical, like the work is never ending. So
Like insurance, you mentioned.
insurance, classifieds, yeah, just so many niches are becoming more competitive as well. Like compared to back in the day where they weren't that competitive. Now everyone's kind of going out for them, and yeah, it's getting more and more competitive out there for sure. Finance, insurance, loans, so many different areas where there's so much competition. It's good. Like, we like competition, but we just don't like people that spam in certain
Right.
verticals. But yeah.
Yeah. No, well, that's good. And so what's the next big thing in SEO and content marketing? What's coming up next?
No, it's hard to say. Like, with SEO, you don't know what's coming up. Like, there could be another big algorithm release, and that everything could be thrown into chaos. That's potentially coming up soon. So, if you've been doing things right, you probably don't need to worry.
Yeah, that's
But
the
I mean,
key. Is a lot of businesses, I think they got in trouble because they weren't doing things right. So when Google made a correction, everybody noticed it.
exactly. So yeah, if you've been doing things right, you probably don't need to worry. But yeah, that's probably the next big thing I'd say is a big algorithm release. I mean, what is the next big thing to sell? Um, Content's been more and more popular over the last few years. More and more agencies are getting involved with content. They want to push out more content. But I mean, good quality content's the point of difference. So creating content that actually stands out to the masses and something that not just everyone's doing. Because I
Yeah.
mean, like something you could be doing like 3 years ago, like creating a BuzzFeed page and putting some content on BuzzFeed. I mean, everyone's doing that now. Even Combank and banks are doing those kind of things. So you got to stay ahead of the game, and just got to think what's the next like interesting kind of tactic going to be that other companies aren't really doing. So
And any insight on that?
I mean, it's a tricky one. Like, just focusing on quality, like doing content that's going to stand out and things that are different. So,
Yeah. So
like
so
for
how?
example,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for example, I'm just trying to think of something off the top of my head. Like just like doing like an ego bait piece of content that you have really high quality individuals. You've reached out to them all and they're all affiliated with that release. I mean, there's so many tactics you can still use. Like if you're pushing out content, you're doing content seeding, you can buy space on other people's newsletters to push out your content. I mean, just little tactics that you need to continuously be doing to kind of influence your campaigns. So,
But how do you sort of making sure that you don't add to that overwhelm? Because as you know, there's a lot of stuff out there, right? And if you're contributing to this overwhelming amount of content, how do you actually make it stick? How do you allow people to actually see it and understand
yeah.
it?
Okay, so I guess for example, some verticals, they may have some average content, so they may have 20 other sites have written a 500 word average piece of content. So you go out there and you look at a vertical and you think, okay, what are the 20 other sites in my industry that have done average 500 word pieces of content? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to create a 3,000 word, very detailed, highly researched piece of authoritative content. I'm going to have video. I'm going to really have some fantastic images, really just to kill the game in a sense, and do something that your competitors are not doing. So look at your competitors, say they're just doing the average mundane content. Just go in there and do something far better. So that's how you stand out. You
Create something remarkable.
Yeah, exactly. Creating remarkable content. And the thing is, creating something remarkable takes time. Doing some in-depth research. Going out there, doing polls of your customers, building high quality content, really just spending the time and researching it and building a authoritative content hub on your site to really just push it out there, because those types of tactics definitely still work.
Yeah, no, fascinating topic too. There's so many different biases and opinions about SEO and that sort of thing. So, thank you very much, James, for sharing your insights and your ideas about SEO and content marketing.
No problem, Doyle.
Really
Happy
appreciate
to
it.
answer any questions
Yeah,
anytime.
and how can people find you? Where do they go to look for you?
They can go to prosperitymedia.com.au if they're in Australia. We've also got prosperitymedia.com in the US. We've got, if you want to contact me directly via email, hello@prosperitymedia.com.au, or feel free to reach out on Twitter @connections8. And I've also got a blog, jamesnorquay.com. So different ways to connect with me.
Fantastic. And do you promise to have good content available?
There's definitely some interesting articles on jamesnorquay.com that have just been put up over the years. We've had some content go viral. We had an interview with an ex-Googler.
Oh,
that
excellent.
content had over 15,000 views and 600 plus links to that article. So we've got some great content on there. There's a lot of things that I've discussed on the call. There's a lot of more in-depth kind of articles around some of these subjects. So yeah, you could definitely jump on there and check out some of that other content on there, because there's a lot of great stuff on there.
Yeah, no, fantastic.
And of course, prosperitymedia.com, we've got some new content always adding to the blog. Always trying to put on new content up there with the team. So yeah.
Good stuff. You're obviously practicing what you preach.
You have to practice what you preach. If you don't, you're in the wrong industry.
Yeah, no, for sure. Cool. Well, as James said, you can find all of his content on prosperitymedia.com.au and prosperitymedia.com. So, and for those who are looking for those links, they'll be available on the podcast site, thedigitaldelusion.com/podcast. So once again, thank you, James. Really appreciate your time, your insights, and your thinking in terms of digital marketing. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Doyle.
And to all the listeners, thank you for listening. And I'm Doyle Bueller, and we'll see you online. Thank you very much for listening to Breaking Digital, the podcast for smart entrepreneurs wanting to become true digital leaders in their industry and to own online. If you have any comments on the program, please feel free to connect on Twitter at Doyle Bueller with the hashtag OwnOnline. I would really appreciate it if you could share this podcast with your network, as I'm sure they will get some value from it for building their successful business online as well. You can find the resources that we talked about, as well as the transcript and full podcast for download on thedigitaldelusion.com/podcast or on iTunes or on SoundCloud. I'm Doyle Bueller, and I will see you online.
Thank you for listening to Breaking Digital with Doyle Bueller. While he goes and makes a sandwich, you can find all of the notes, links, and details on this podcast by visiting thedigitaldelusion.com/podcast. Go on and click that now. www.thedigitaldelusion.com/podcast. I'll definitely click that. If you'd like a free copy of the book, The Digital Delusion, How to Overcome the Misguidance and Misinformation Online, just send an email to doyle@thedigitaldelusion.com. See you online.